Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and in this video we're going to talk about Alaska, which has been burning up this summer. This is Smoke Alaska EDU, and this is the current list of fires, last updated August 9th, 2022, which is today. So the red, very large, yellow, large, teal, moderate, blue, local. So we got some local ones going up north here, and then kind of a lot of local ones down here in the south. We got this ridge kind of here of some of the very large fires kind of condensed into this area. Some more splattered up here, and then a bunch of moderate fires throughout, just splattered within, with some large fires here in the yellow. So Alaska has been burning up. We have a few articles here. This is Green Matters, July 20th, 2022. Alaska has endured over 500 wildfires this year alone. So approximately 2,000 or so firefighters from in and out of state were mobilized to extinguish the fires, and now they're just being sent home thanks to recent rainfall. Almost 3 million acres of land scorched, though this is considered to be Alaska's sixth worst fire season of all time. So there's a lot burning up there. They're at a level 4 now, they said. They're preparing to drop to a level 3, hopefully. 5 is the top. They said firefighters are being relieved from the area, but officials remain concerned that only a day of arid weather could reignite the flames. It's happened in past seasons, and right now they're halfway through this season, which is likely to run through autumn. So, yeah, they are seeing a lot of smoke out there. They say in 2004 about 6.5 million acres of land were decimated, and right now over 500 fires since April 2022. Mining camps, villages, and cabins have been evacuated, and habitats have been destroyed. Over 1 million acres were burned by June, and over 3 million were burnt by mid-July. So, July 19th, 264 fires were burning at once. Experts attribute the fires to lightning storms and dry conditions. And you'll see in an article over here, right here, in a Guardian article, it says over a 4-day span in July, almost 40,000 lightning hits were recorded across the state, while Alaska averages about 60,000 strikes over the course of a year. So, yeah, lightning is helping out these fires getting started. So right here, Rick Thoman, an International Arctic Research Center climate specialist, told The Guardian, drought, early melt of snowfall, winds, and lightning strikes have all combined to make for a tough start of the season. And, right here it says fires can be more difficult to get to in Alaska, as many of them are in remote areas, often blocked by mountain trees and other types of rough terrain. But these rampant wildfires aren't only plaguing Alaska, they're tearing through even the coldest parts of the world. So, they say global warming's, the warming of the planet is playing a huge role in this. So, yeah, I don't know how much geoengineering they have going up in Alaska, but yeah, Alaska. Well, and then they talk about Biden drilling there, but yeah, Alaska is having a summer, and nearly 3 million acres have burned, according to AlaskaPublic.org. And right here, they said the fires aren't growing anymore. So the management team there has moved to a smaller group from a Type 2 incident management to a Type 3, Harrell said. And Harrell is right here, the State Forestry Division spokesperson, Sam Harrell. But, he says they're still dealing with, active fires and they remain cautious because they know it's possible that hot air and dry weather could turn. He says that's happened in past fire seasons that look a lot like this one. So, in our previous large acreage years, burning of large acreage, I assume that's how those summers played out. We would have our typical lull at this time of the year, only to have it dry out in August, September. And right here he says the fire season's only half over, so they'll keep busy suppressing high priority wildfires well into the fall. And this Guardian article from July 19th, 2022 has some interesting bits of information in here. So Rick Thonen, a climate specialist at the International Arctic Research Center in Fairbanks, said this year's fires are unprecedented. But they've had a couple of big fire years before, so yeah, that's where they talk about how many lightning strikes they had across 4 days in July. And they said the strikes connected with a landscape ready to burn. Willows and alders in the state's forest have grown thicker and taller, while black spruce, another tree common in the forest, grow larger and work up the hills. Meanwhile, warmer temperatures have increased vegetation on the tundra. At the end of the day, you have more material to burn, he said. So, the climate crisis is playing a part in changing conditions. That's always in there. So Cale Casey, the lead information officer for Alaska Incident Management Green Team, which helps coordinate responses to fires across the state, said the increase in flammable vegetation is creating fires that are way more intense. Rather than burning through the trees and just scorching the earth, these guys are burning deep, getting everything. He said the firefighters have also noticed what is described as long fingers of fire burning deep into the tundra. Instead of working quickly across the duff layer, the dense maps of grass and shrubbery decomposing along the topsoil, today's fires often burn through the duff to the mineral soil beneath, explained Zav Grabinski, a science communicator at the Alaska Fire Science Consortium, a wildfire research center. He says that if the fire burns through the duff and reaches the mineral soil, that's a sign of a very hot and deep fire. This year's duff is bone dry, creating these burns. In a usual year without the drought, you can dig down and find moisture pretty quickly. But this year, when you dig down, it's just dry. So they're having deeper fires, which mean more resilient coals. The embers nest in the duff, insulated over the long winter from snow, feeding on flammable peat. Come spring, winds cause the embers to flare back up, creating holdover fires, or what firefighters call zombie fires. With fires burning hotter and deeper into the forest floor, we've seen that multiple times. So the fire augers in there then waking up again, and that's always discouraging. He said that zombie fires might be responsible for some of the early fires that they saw in April. And then they talk about the smoke. It's when I was up in Glacier National Park when it was burning, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. The smoke is somewhere in here. It says that it can give you headaches, and it did. It just and it hurt your lungs, kind of like it just you knew you were breathing in stuff. But um, yeah, they're having a lot of issues with smoke. So they say at one point here in St. Mary's on the Yukon River, the smoke was so bad residents couldn't see the banks on the other side of the river. People did yard work with respirators. Yeah, that's smoke causes headaches, burning eyes, and bronchitis. So they say that this spring, a hospital in Nome in western Alaska recorded 600 parts per million of particulate matter. Doctors say anything over 150 parts per million of particulate matter can damage the lungs and trigger asthma. So, yeah, it's but there's cabins on fire right up here. There was homeowners and communities in Anderson were told, a town located about 80 miles southwest of Fairbanks, were told to take your family and pets and leave now. At least one home burned, but officials cannot confirm the exact number. That's maybe one of the biggest communities that got evacuated because, yeah, a lot of places that are burning are just what you hear about Alaska, people that have, cabins out in the middle of the nowhere, and they're really, in a lot of respects even cut off for the winter, and maybe a plane goes out there once a month and brings supplies if it can get there. But and right here they say, over the years most fires in the states had been left to burn because they're often so remote. In Alaska, we basically fight fires by aviation or boat. They're just so tough to get to. But today, a conglomeration of state and federal firefighters deployed helicopter, parachutes, boat, and trucks work with crews from other U.S. states with the idea that Alaska crews will reciprocate once Alaska season wanes and fires intensify further south. So they're starting to, fight fires like the lower 48, bringing in big crews and not just letting them burn. It's, in the old days in America, especially out west, even in Yellowstone right now, they've had some fires that they just let burn and then they burn themselves out because they're remote and fire is part of the natural process of things. But they say, here we are in the middle of July. It could go a lot of different ways. Um, so, they all have memories of the bad years like 2004 and 9. In their careers, they hear word records more and more and more. They hope for rain. As we all know in the trade, hope is not a strategy for fighting fire. So they're working hard out there in Alaska, and the place is really burning up, and smoke is, inhabiting small communities or just even the firefighters. They're out there in these fires working through this smoke, breathing in that air and whatnot. But right now, Alaska is having a very intense summer. Here's another map. It kind of, shows it up this little spine area here. It says active wildfires in Alaska right now. And this is July 19th, 2022. And this too is a map of all of the fires in Alaska right now. And it's just burning up. So, Alaska doesn't get a whole lot of press. Here's Nome, as they said, way out to the west. That's where the Iditarod goes from Alaska up to Nome, I believe, right there. So, not too far, but Nome's a little itsy bitsy place. But yeah, Alaska is having a very hot summer. Not only are, they having problems with the tundra thawing and methane, escaping, but they are having a very intense fire season up there. So I hope they're all well and safe, and then the natural processes, restore and new growth comes in, and this is part of natural processes. So long as people are safe and a minimal amount of homes get destroyed, then this is a factor you live with when you live out there surrounded by trees and forests. So stay tuned, people.